Matt, tell us about what matters to you, why you're here, what you care about.
Awesome, thank you so much. So I'm coming to you from Foster on Gunai country. Hi, I'm Matt Morgan. I'm a student of philosophy and politics, and I work for a small business here in Foster and on my grandparents' regenerative farm. I'd like to take this opportunity to quickly show you the future I want to help bring for South Gippsland. So when I first put my hand up to run, I gave an open invitation to everyone. My phone, my email address, my Facebook messages. There's a seat at the local coffee shop that I probably should have been paying rent on for the amount of time I've been sitting there talking to you all. And I was told that as a young progressive, I wouldn't stand a chance in South Gippsland. And I don't know, maybe those people are still right. We'll find out soon. But regardless of the outcome, I am nothing but proud to bring progressive ideas to the table. A climate emergency declaration and grassroots action plan isn't just a council policy. It's a message to us. It's an acknowledgement. It's a promise to be better and to play our role. Kids are supposed to have nightmares about monsters under their beds, not bushfires in their backyards. The science around climate change has been there my whole life. It's been a political football and hotbed of negligence for my whole life. We deserve a safe climate. South Gippsland can't provide that alone, but we can be a part of the solution. I co-founded and lobbied with Basque Coast Climate Action Network to get a declaration and climate action plan in our neighbouring shire. So now I'm here on behalf of your kids and grandkids asking you, let us lead the change we need to get us out of this. Participation isn't something to be scared of. The people of South Gippsland aren't, but our council has been for too long. So let's have citizens' assemblies. Let's have open questions again in meetings, and let's have a youth voice to council. The more people involved, a better cross-section of our community can be represented properly. We need less hierarchy and power and more two-way communication channels. And we also need to act now to free up rental housing for people and families in low socioeconomic positions. Houses that were once long-term leases for families are now listed as short-term accommodation on Airbnb. This is a direct result of council banning free camping at places like the Franklin River and not allowing towns like Foster to declare themselves RV friendly. We're losing tourism income and community members. And now we've got businesses all over the coastal prom ward who can't find staff. We have an aging population and a mass exodus of young workers leaving the region. If we don't stop young people packing their bags, staff shortages will be the first of a long string of economic issues for businesses in our region. Young people need support and representation. I've enjoyed campaigning more than I thought. I feel really comfortable about the prospect of representing our community. So far, it's been mostly listening. And the minute I stop listening, you have full permission to vote me out. I know I'm young and I've got lots to learn, but I'm ready to speak. I'm ready to amplify the voices of you all and work collaboratively in a new, productive, transparent council. So if you're ready for a new kind of representation and a new type of leadership, please let me prove myself to you all. Thanks.
Thank you, Matt. You mentioned learning, which is a vital thing for any politician. What did you hope you know more about at the end of your term if you were elected?
I hope to learn a fair bit more about the practicalities of working in governments, and especially at a grassroots level. I have studied politics for a while in classrooms and lecture theatres, but I think I'm ready to get my hands in there and get stuck into it. And speaking with the community members so far, and geez, there's been a lot of them and lots of different ideas coming at me. And I think the challenge for me is going to be to sort of collate all of these ideas and try and represent everybody in a fair and equal way. But yeah, there's lots to learn.
So I'm Imogen. I'm living in Walkerville at the moment. And my question is, when we look at the demographics of the Shire, how can you see yourself working towards inclusion and diversity in the voices that you're hearing and amplifying at council level, especially in those groups and demographics that you perhaps are not a part of or really very entrenched in your day-to-day life?
Hi, so I am the different demographic. Thanks, Imogen, for the question about representation and diversity. It is incredibly important, and I spoke in my initial statement about having a citizens' assembly. I think that is a really important asset to our new council, and I think it needs to be opened up to under 18s based on the issue at hand as well. The other thing I'd like to propose is that we have a youth voice to council or a youth congress. I met up with some of the students from Foster Secondary, and I can tell you what, when we're talking about youth engagement, which is a serious issue here when we've got young people departing in their droves. We really need to support our young people. Young people don't just need support and representation. We need young people. We've got staff shortages all the way across the coastal prom with young workers leaving, and there's nowhere for them to rent. There's no facilities for them to study in. There's no support for their mental health. There's just a long way to go. And look, if you don't want to put me in council and represent them myself, then let's have a youth coordinator. Let's actually change some things rather than just say words.
Thanks, Matt. Knowledge is not working, so she can't speak it for herself. So I'll read it out. And so thanks, Penny from Foster. It's quite specifically about the prom. Do candidates think the state government's $20 million development project for the prom will enhance or potentially destroy all that we love about the prom? Matt?
Will do nothing but enhance the sustainability and the biodiversity of the prom. The Prom Sanctuary project being done by Parks in conjunction with the state government is an incredible opportunity to save and bring back some species from the brink of extinction, including the spotted quoll. The easy catch that we can get caught up on is the cost of building a fence, but it's so much more than that. The prom and the land of the prom is actually 5 to 10 degrees cooler than the mainland because of the surrounding waters, which means as we deal with the effects of climate change, it is going to be an absolutely essential piece of remaining habitat. And if we can get rid of some of the pest species, including the deers and the foxes, then we've got a bit of a precedent from Phillip Island when they did that as well. So we know that we can do it. Once we've got that, we build a fence, and they've got a, forget what they call it, but they had a little entrance gateway that's sort of like an electric fence that cars can get through and the animals stay in and pests stay out. But I can't find a single downside to this. It's just an investment in our environment and our future.
Thanks. We've got a couple of questions around this kind of conundrum between amenity, space, everything else, and we've got some housing shortages. Who'd like to take on that particular? It is a dilemma, a paradox. What's your view around this whole issue of shortage of housing, Matt?
Yeah, and can I just acknowledge the work with that May Day meeting and the future summit? It is extremely important issues. And when we're talking about housing as well, it is about emergency accommodation, especially for vulnerable women and families. Not only that, we've got young people that can't rent or buy here. 10 years ago, this was an incentive for young people from the city to come out here, was because we could actually buy a house in Foster for $300,000. Now we're just living on top of each other in share houses anyway. We may as well go and study in Melbourne where we've got adequate facilities. All that aside, David did say rental houses have disappeared. And yes, they have, but there is a reason. And this isn't the only reason, but one of them is because our tourism market has been really restricted in how they operate. Free camping at the Franklin River has been scrapped. And there is really restrictive rules about RV style camping and different accommodation styles that need to be opened up in our tourist seasons. When our prom ballot gets full and the caravan parks and the campsites are full, people move into Airbnbs. So people that were once listing their rental properties for families for long-term leases are now listing them on Airbnbs. And there are houses that are sitting empty during this COVID pandemic because they're listed for short-term rentals when they need to be freed up for people that can contribute to our community and economy long term.
And I know I'm not supposed to make comment, but it's something close to my heart. Alison, you've got a question. I'm going to ask each of the candidates to answer it. I think it's an important one. And then we'll move to, I think by the time we finish these answers, it'll be time for us to move to summary. Alison, please go ahead.
Hi, everyone. What I'm interested in knowing is how you will keep in contact and communicate with your communities or with the broader community, and how will you share information on which you're basing a decision before the decision's made, so that you can bring that perspective to the council table.
Thank you. It's all about good governance and all sorts of things there. Matt, your hand up first. I'm going to take hands that go up.
Yeah, okay, just quickly, thanks for that comment, Alison, and all the work you do for Venus-based community. I would like to have our council agendas printed a long time in advance, and community connections meetings where people can openly ask councillors questions. But I would also like to have recommendations from a youth council printed publicly on those council agendas, so we can have their recommendations there and council can be accountable for that as well. All right, yeah, I forgot we're going in backwards order, hey. Okay, let's talk about Section 9 of the Local Government Act 2020, just to bring the mood down a little bit. Section 9 of the Local Government Act 2020 states councils are required to promote the economic, social and environmental sustainability of the municipal district, including mitigation and planning for climate change risks. It's not optional, it is the job. It's not contentious, it's just responsible planning. I'd just like to say, I think we're ready for my generation to have a seat at the table now. We've got a wonderful community and we have an opportunity here to represent everyone. And I want to support everybody from the farmers to retirees and the kids. We should bring everyone in South Gippsland forwards together and with full two-way transparent communication. I'm here to listen and communicate openly with everybody. I hope this is how everybody wants to operate in council. And I really hope I can make a real positive impact for South Gippsland, and I'm here for the long term. Thank you everybody for joining and participating in such an enthusiastic way.
Good on you, Matt. Thank you.